So you want to learn how to play Mr. Fantastic inside of Marvel Rivals. Today I'll be teaching you how to use his mechanics and showing you real gameplay examples of how to get good with Mr. Fantastic fast. Really quick guys, before we get into the video, 97% of you guys actually aren't subscribed. I'm trying to hit 2,500 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. I'm going to be giving away a copy of Spider-Man 2 at 5,000 subscribers, but you're going to have to be subscribed to enter that giveaway, so if that's something you're interested in, consider clicking subscribe. And if you appreciate how quick and to the point this guide is, please consider leaving a like on this video. So Mr. Fantastic's primary attack is a long distance melee punch that can do a lot of poke damage and melee damage from long distances. He's really good to poke with and just kind of get mixy and a brawl at the same time. The distance that he can get with his melee with his punch makes him usable in a whole bunch of different comps. With his right click, Mr. Fantastic will attach to one target, and he can choose another target to lock onto and slam those two targets together. This can be good for crowd control or just trying to finish off two targets at the same time. A very key thing to note here is that you can hit multiple targets at the same time with his melee attack. So if you swipe your mouse across your screen when you do your primary attack, you will hit multiple targets in the way of his punch. So this can be comboed easily by slamming two targets together with your right click and then swiping through them to damage both of them. This is a very important thing that people aren't really figuring out yet with his kit, and I'm here to give you guys this information now so you guys can be a step ahead of everybody else. In the middle of the screen, I'm sure you guys see this number building up whenever I do damage to somebody. Once this number reaches 100, Mr. Fantastic will go into his tank form for about 5 seconds where he'll do increased damage and have a lot more health. The key with him is to kind of frontline brawl and always be trying to get to this form as much as you possibly can, because your damage output and sustainability will go up substantially the more you're able to acquire this form. What are the quickest ways to get into this form? Well, Mr. Fantastic's E ability has two functions. The first being that he can protect a teammate by pressing E and absorbing the damage that they take. That will give you 30 hit points towards your tank form. Doing your E to an enemy will not only damage them, but also give you 30 hit points towards your tank form. A quick tip here is when you guys notice that you're about 30 hit points away from getting your tank form, save one of your E's because you have two of them and they're on cooldown to get that last 30 when you press E to go into your tank form. So essentially when you're about 30 points off, press E and you'll dive into them immediately going into your tank form. You should be using your E to finish off targets or to do things like this. For his ultimate, he will bounce up and down, slamming on targets, doing damage to them. Quick thing to note here is that the closer you are to the ceiling, you will bounce off the ceiling, meaning that you can bounce up and down faster, meaning more damage. With your E, Mr. Fantastic will absorb any damage shot to him and then reflect it back at them after a few seconds. This can absorb a lot of stuff, including Iron Man's ultimate, so save this for when you really need it, either to disengage or counter something. Here's a good example of how to manage your cooldown timings. So as I mentioned before, I can see here that I'm about 9 away from getting my tank form. So I press E on this Thor, and this sends me into my tank form so I can turn into my tank and kind of take space from my team. I noticed that I was within that 30 point threshold that you get from pressing your E on somebody to get my tank form. So I used that to turn into my tank and take space from my team. Here's an example of the other way you should be using your E here. Now realistically, I should have waited and got one more hit off so this could have sent me into my tank form, but regardless, I see that this Thor is really weak. So as soon as I see that he's weak enough for my E to kill him, I press E and then use that to kill him so I can get in and get out really fast. Remember, use this ability to either get your tank form or finish off a kill. Here's a good example of the mindset you should be playing this character with. Yes, he is a DPS, but he functions more like a tank in my honest opinion. But what I mean by that is you see how aggressive I can be even when I'm not in my tank form. I have a lot of sustainability, and me getting up in these people's face is helping me push the other team back. As soon as I do enough damage to get into my tank form, my ability to push them back goes up even further. So not only do I have the ability to force the other team back and create space for my team while I'm in my DPS form, but that can snowball by turning me into an actual tank and making that ability to create space be even more impactful. You don't want to be passive with this character. You want to be taking space and pushing up as much as you can so your teammates can capitalize off the space that you bring. I pop my ultimate here, and while it's not the best use of the ability, you guys get the idea that I'm using this ability to kind of damage the enemies and use them to get paranoid, so the healers have to focus something while my teammates can push up and kind of take them out while their focus is drawn somewhere else. Now, yes, guys, ideally you want to use this in a high traffic area where the ceiling is close to the ground so you can get as much damage as possible. Here's a really good example of how annoying Mr. Fantastic can be to other tanks. He counters other tanks. I'm in this Magneto's face, and since I have so much sustainability, there's not much he can really do to stop me here. I use both my E's on him, and I get into my tank form, and I have so much health, and since I'm a DPS, I'm doing so much damage that he can't really deal with me, and he's completely taken out of the fight. Mr. Fantastic is really good at making other tanks' lives hell. But remember, even though I said he's more of a tank in my opinion, he is still a DPS, and you can still chase down targets and get kills and make sure that your team is getting the eliminations that they need. But yeah guys, that's going to do it for this Mr. Fantastic guide. I hope you guys are really enjoying the new character. I think he's really fun and a really unique character in hero design, and the devs really cooked with this kid. He's be having another video out for a guide for Invisible Woman that will be out sometime within the next 2 to 3 hours. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you subscribe and leave a like, turn the notification bell on because that guide will be out soon. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you guys are having fun in season 1. Peace out.